If you are on your way to, or have already found yourself in the gorgeous coastal town of Split, you might be wondering what all there is to do in Croatia's second largest city. Not to worry, we've got a list of suggestions. Number 1, the Palace and Old Town. If the idea of a maze of cobblestone streets, hidden gems tucked in alluring alleyways, and squares filled with fabulous restaurants, cafes, and shops sounds like a good time to you, then you definitely need to take a walk through the Old Town and Diocletian's Palace. The palace is actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site and contains architecture dating all the way back to 350 AD. There's also a handful of tourist locations here as well. St. Domnius' Cathedral and Bell Tower, a great place for a view of the city. The crypt under the cathedral, the Baptistry of St. John, and the museum outside the cathedral. However, while these sites are probably worth checking out, we actually recommend visiting the cellars of Diocletian's Palace, just south of the Peristyle Square. Though part of it is made up of the normal tourist shop fare, there is a part of it that acts more like a museum, allowing you to walk through the substructure of the palace and marvel at the ancient architecture. We also found that this area was significantly less crowded, which adds immensely to the atmosphere and enjoyment. This area of the city also plays host to a number of fantastic restaurants, which we'll cover in an upcoming video. Number 2, the Riva Promenade. If you've just spent the day getting lost in the labyrinth that is the palace, you might be looking for a nice spot to have a drink and marvel at the jeweled blue waters of the Adriatic. This is when you want to find yourself on the Riva Promenade, a man-made quay that runs directly between the palace and the sea. Lined with palm trees, tourists, and benches to sit and people watch, the Riva is an excellent spot to unwind. The restaurants on the quay tend to be a bit overpriced, but you are paying for the glorious view and ambiance. And nothing beats having a refreshing drink and watching the world go by while being cooled from the breeze off the water. Number 3, the beaches of the Adriatic Sea. Split has a number of truly gorgeous beaches to offer for anyone looking to take a dip or work on their tan. The best part is, most of them are just a short walk outside the Old Town, and they usually have bars and restaurants when you want to take a break from the calm and crystal clear waters. We were actually in Split during the off-season when the weather seemed a bit too cold for a dip, but that didn't seem to bother the crowds of tourists and locals alike who continued to flock to these incredible beaches. One thing to note, a lot of the beaches are actually pebble beaches, not sand. As such, for most of them, water shoes would be highly recommended. Number 4. Kliss Fortress. Overlooking the city, high up on a hill, sits a dominating reminder of an ancient time in Croatian history. Kliss Fortress dates back all the way to the 3rd century BC and is now a popular visitor attraction. This might have something to do with it being the filming location for the city of Marjan in Game of Thrones. The fortress sits just above the small town of Kliss and is about a 30-minute drive from the Split Old Town. Parking is free, but you can also take bus 22 from the Old Town to the base of the fortress. Entry itself is 40 kunas, that's about $5.75 USD at the time of filming, and contains a number of extraordinary panoramic views of the surrounding mountains as well as the whole of Split. We gotta admit, there is something truly incredible about walking through a site that has gone from stronghold to royal castle to fortress over the course of about 2,000 years. One warning though, the walk through has some steep hills and steeper stairs, and those with mobility issues may have some difficulty. Number 5. Marjan Park. Just to the west of Old Town lies an enchanting forest crawling up the slopes of a small mountain. Marjan Forest Park contains a series of scenic trails and an opportunity for some robust cardio.
It's our least favorite activity. Cardio. In nature. Let's go, honey.
A lookout point on the peak offering views of Split as well as the Adriatic, and a number of ancient monasteries and ruins. Starting at the entry point by Old Town, exploring the park can definitely take you the better part of a day. Most of the trails are fairly easy, being well paved and marked, but you will be making quite the climb to reach the top. Near the south side of the park, about halfway between the end of the peninsula and Old Town, there is also a section where you can do free climbing up the cliff walls, which, unsurprisingly, we did not partake in. The southern edge of the park can also lead you down into the secluded Kasjuni Beach. We highly recommend comfortable walking shoes as well as a lot of water if you intend to explore the breadth of the park. Once inside, there's no real places to purchase anything to drink. Number 6. The nightlife. When the sun goes down, Split awakens to a vibrant nightlife, especially along the Riva Promenade. Again, the spots on the Riva are definitely a little overpriced, but it's clearly the hot spot for going out to party. We will say though that the nightlife in the area does tend to skew just a bit young. So if the constant thumping of house music and dancing the night away around 20-somethings puffing on a hookah aren't your thing, you might try checking out the Peristyle Square in the Palace. This is a fantastic location to have a drink and possibly listen to some live music in a much more relaxed atmosphere.
Because I'm still in love with you. Want to see you dance again. Because I'm still in love with you. On this harvest.
Fair warning though, the restaurant in the square, Le Vixor, and I know that I'm pronouncing that wrong, charges a pretty high amount for most items on the menu, which makes sense thanks to their alluring location in the city. Now, we know there is much more to do in and around Split. In fact, we will have a few videos coming out shortly about fantastic day trips to take from the city. But if there's anything you think should have been on this list, go ahead and drop it in the comments below. We hope you enjoy your time in Split, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
This harvest.